today. We're going to select that employee that we nominated. I'm in our training server and I'm going to open the event I've been using for some while. And once I have that event opened, I will go into missions. And the mission that we used previously was the SAM debris oversight mission. And then once that mission loads, we go into taskers. And so what we did, we went in and I created a tasker and I sent it to Galveston District. And then I played the role of Galveston and they nominated Teresa Conley. They didn't, I did, but as Galveston, I nominated Teresa Conley. So we're picking this up today, and I'm going to show you how to make sure that employee gets selected for this position. Now, as Mobile District, which is where we are, there's a good chance that you may not know Teresa Conley from a hole in the ground. And so, with that being said, when you see her name, now you can do it from here, or I can open the tasker, either way. And I want to review her personal information, so I can click her name here. Either way, I could open it from that list, or I can click her name here, and it will open her contact. And so I want to make sure that she's got some preliminary data in there. She needs to have an email or shirt size, that kind of stuff. And we also want to know that she's got emergency contacts. Let's see. I'm not seeing a lot of that. Sometimes, and I'm trying to get this better, but I want to see her emergency contacts, and I'm not seeing that. So sometimes when you're viewing a contact, you have to go to the related, and this has a number of other fields you can see. So I want to turn on emergency contacts. Now this doesn't mean she has any. Okay, she's got one, James Conley, but I don't see his phone number. Let's see if he has a phone number. Okay, he does. So that's good. So, that's something I would check. Do they have emergency contacts? Do they have phone numbers? And let's look at their readiness. Does she have her medical screening? She does. So I'm looking at this section right here. Does she have all of these details? And she does. So she's in pretty good shape. Now, really, that's kind of a moot point because in our scenario, we assumed that the mission management personnel came to us and said, hey, Rodney, we need you guys to create a tasker for a debris action officer, and we want that tasker to go to Galveston for Teresa Conley. So that was kind of the direction given to us. Sorry, that phone shut off. That was kind of the direction given to us. All we did was just follow directions. It might be that what if she is lacking a medical? What if she is lacking some stuff? I think personally, this is the world according to Rodney. I would contact Galveston and say, hey, Galveston, before Teresa comes down here, can you make sure that she updates her medical screening? Can you make sure that she has emergency contact? Can you make sure she updates her phone numbers? So I would kind of try to work that angle to make sure she gets all that stuff, taken care of. Even if she has been name requested, she still is obligated, or we should feel kind of obligated to make sure she also has her readiness requirements and her information updated just like every other employee. There's no special privileges given to people that are just name picked. So that's one thing I would be sure to do. All right, so we now know that she's good and she's on that tasker. So what we have to do, we've got to change this tasker status right here from nominated to selected. This is something new in EngineLink. You have an activity to do that. Now you're not obligated, if this were not a name selected tasker, if someone didn't direct you to put her on the tasker, instead you've gotten a nomination on just a general tasker that you created, you're not obligated to select that person. You may have some inside information on this person that, wow, man, the last time they were deployed, they really caused a lot of hard times for people. Personality challenges or uh, work ethics, work style. There are some people out there that are really sometimes hard to work alongside of, and you really don't need that during a disaster response. You need to pull together as a team and all work together to make it a good experience. There's no reason that it should be any harder than what it may already be. And so you really want to make sure you're not obligating somebody on a tasker that people really are not going to have a good time working with. So I just wanted you to know that you're not obligated to select her. But what we want to do when you have a nomination, you want to come into this tasker and go to the approvals link. There's various activities that will take place. Selecting the employee, extending the employee, transfer the employee. These are all going to be found under approval activities. All right, so this activity is called the Tasker Nominee Selection Activity. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to double click this row to open it. We want to get an actual end date on this. That means the activity has been completed. It's just an activity where you got to do something in EngLink. You'll see all of the information that's been brought forward from the event, the mission, and the tasker. What it's waiting on you to do is to make a decision. So when I click in that field, there's only two, select or deselect. Again, other than this tasker, if this were just a random tasker and you've got a nomination, it might be that you're like, no, I want to deselect that employee, and that tasker would go back to that organization that had made the nomination, and it would advise them, hey, can you nominate someone else? This person has been deselected. So you can do that. But in this case, we're going to go forward, we're going to select, and we're going to say something to the extent of per the mission manager's request. Something like that. I might put the manager's name, first name, and last name. I may do something like that. I don't know how I would do it. I really haven't had enough practice using it in real world, knowing how I would do it and what's going to be important. But I would kind of document why I'm selecting this person. It wasn't my choice per se. I'm just following orders. So once you get finished, you've got some options up on the ribbon. Do not click this one. In fact, we're going to try to get this one removed out of the system. This one will close the tasker. It thinks you're completing the entire tasker, and it really will hose you up. So don't click Mark Complete. You can either click Save or Save and Close. We're going to do Save and Close. All right, and in just a moment, our tasker is going to come back to us, and we're going to see an updated tasker status. Now we can see that the tasker status is selected. Notice the activity has an actual end date. So when you're looking at these activities, you may end up with a list of them. If you don't see an end date, those are activities that have yet to be completed. So you need to make sure all of those activities get completed. So we're going to return to our tasker. This employee is now in a selected status, and what you're waiting on is for this date to get here, which would be tomorrow. She's not going to be here until tomorrow. Now, when I go and do the next thing I'm going to show you, I'm an administrator, so my view is a little bit skewed. But when they do arrive, we're not going to do this today. This is another class. All right. But a Mobile district will see locks on both of these fields. These are fields that when you put the dates in, causes the tasker status to go from selected to on-site. But Mobile District, because they created an external tasker, they can't do anything. They can't put in a departed home station or a received and impacted org. They got to have both these dates. Now, this date will be input by her organization, which is Galveston. I don't know how everybody's organization does it, but some organizations will tell their employees, hey, give me a call when you get to the airport so we can know that you've made it there and that you're about to get on your airplane. Or send us an email or stop by the office or something. And so once that employee complies with that request, then they can go into the tasker and put in the departed home station date. And once Galveston does that and submits it, then it's up to Mobile. Once the employee arrives, Mobile can go in then and receive them. So that's how it works. Now, when there's just a date here, the status will be deployed. The status will no longer be selected. Once they input the departed home station, the employee is in a deployed status. And that'll be another class, and I'll show you that on down the road. But I just wanted to point that out. That you don't see it a lot when I'm teaching it because I don't have the locks. I have full permissions, but I did want you to know that.